Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. I hope everything is great. Everything here is good. Yesterday, I got a comment from Chris. First of all, we can thank Chris for yesterday's episode because I forgot to hit the publish button. I do these at lunch. It's lunchtime. It's my lunch right now. I record this. I just ate lunch. So I record this at lunchtime, and then at some point, if I have enough time to edit during lunch, I rarely do. I'll edit it right after work, and then upload it, and then I'll come back, and once it's done processing, I'll hit publish. With my kids, it's just been a weird week, and it was like 8:30 or something last night when Chris asked where the video was. So you can thank him, but he left a cool comment after that, and I want to talk about it. And he said. He was snacking on a couple of Pasteur Street tacos. I got to wondering what the quintessential food is where you're at in West Virginia. The where you're at in West Virginia thing is kind of an important part of this because for Chris, he says for California, it's the taco or burrito. New York has a slice of pizza. Maine has lobster roll. So what is the meal that if a tourist were to come visit me, I would say you have to have this? I can't define one. Other than the pepperoni roll, which he mentioned, he called it pepperoni bread in the comments. Pepperoni rolls are West Virginia wide. You can go anywhere in West Virginia and get pepperoni rolls. They're in gas stations. Some restaurants have them. It's a very quintessential West Virginian food that you can't get outside of here. I mean, there are things like sausage rolls and that sort of stuff. A pepperoni roll is essentially pepperoni. There is an argument over whether it should be sliced or diced or stick. I prefer stick pepperoni, rolled up in some Italian bread and baked. That's it. That's the whole thing. And I wouldn't, if you were to come visit me, we would have pepperoni rolls, but it's not like we're going to go get a pepperoni roll. Like, there's no restaurant to go to. It's just bread and pepperoni. It's nothing amazingly special. And I'll just have them in the house and say, here, have a pepperoni roll. As far as, like, if you were to come to my town, so this is a small town of about 18,000, and we basically just have chain restaurants. There are a few mom and pops places, and they just serve white people food. West Virginia exists because of the coal industry. In the past, that's why people came here, and the people who came here were white Europeans. So, from everything from Irish to Italian to English, Polish, just white European food. That's what's here. But we also have, like, we're situated in the middle of the country vertically and east of the East Coast and west of the Midwest. So we're kind of a mismatch of all of that. So you can go to places here and get soul food. You can get southern fried chicken and collard greens, and you can also you can get really good pizza here. But it's not like West Virginia wide, and it's very similar to California, I think. So Chris is in the Bay Area or SoCal, and sure, I would say that tacos are the thing. There's taquerias everywhere, and you go get a taco, and you have your favorite place. This corner has got the best this, and this corner has the best that. There's not really a thing like that here. In my small town, we don't have street vendors. There's a couple of restaurants that have food trucks, but they only come out for special occasions. It's not like you can just go get a food truck, whatever. And there isn't something that's the norm. In my particular area, in my little town, there is a large contingent. There's a large Italian population. So directly over the hill from my house, I mean, it's like half a mile away, is Muriel's Italian Kitchen. You can look it up on the internet. It's very famous for this area of the world. People travel to Fairmont, West Virginia to go to Muriel's Italian Kitchen. So if you came here, we would probably go there. And you're just going to get Italian food. Like authentic, like straight out of Italy Italian food in the middle of nowhere, white West Virginia. It is... But like everything that was here that's been influenced by the labor that came here, when the Italians showed up in the late 1800s, early 1900s, a lot of them came here for the coal mine industry. The same thing with the Irish. When the Irish came over, we have a large population of both of those. there's just a kind of a mix of Catholic Europeans here. But I would say that the Italian is the most prevalent, and the Italians that came here were the farmers. They were the not well-to-do, and so the Italian food that we have here is not the Sicilian, Mediterranean Italian. It's the hearty farmers Italian. You're gonna get, meat sauce with lots of pasta and meatballs. You're gonna get cacciatories and that kind of hearty Italian food. But it's absolutely amazing, authentic Italian. And to go with that, we have a lot of pizzerias. So, and they make this really thick, not Chicago pan, but people call it tray pizza here. You order a tray or a half tray, and they're these big kind of rectangular shaped thick dough pizzas with just a crap load of mozzarella poured on top. It usually goes sauce, pepperoni, and then just mozzarella all over the place. That's a pretty normal thing here. But thinking about Chris's question, if you were to say, so when I was stationed in Hawaii, I could tell you that plate lunch places were the Hawaiian thing. And they're just these little in the corner store. You go in, you get a main dish, a couple scoops of rice, and a scoop of mac salad, and they're everywhere. You have, J and P's and A and K's and just little family-owned restaurants that serve basic food. Again, SoCal, you're going to have those taco stands, you're going to have the taco restaurants, and that's a very common thing there. Here, that would be hot dogs. And again, where I'm at is the northern part of the state. It's split. There's people in the south, their hot dogs are very different than the people up here. In the south, you put coleslaw on your hot dogs. Up here, you don't. Hot dogs are those little everywhere you go restaurants. And typically, it's, mustard, onions, and sauce. The sauce is a meat chili type thing. It's a tomato-based meat chili, usually no beans. There are some places around here where you can get beans. I don't frequent those places. So I would say, again, that's coal miner influenced food. Those are things that we took into the coal mines. The same with the pepperoni roll, and they're also that European influence. They're also that Italian influence. And so these were all foods that were made to feed coal miners. That would be the West Virginia thing. Aside from that, there are people from the southern part of the state that'll tell you if you come to West Virginia and you don't eat at Tudor's, you've done something wrong. Tudor's Biscuit World is a chain restaurant that I believe is just in West Virginia. There might be like one in Florida because lots of West Virginians go to Florida for the winter. Tudor's Biscuit World is exactly what it sounds like. You get stuff on a biscuit. And it's nothing, in my opinion, it's nothing amazing, but it is special. Like the biscuits are good and flaky and they're big. They're big biscuits and you get egg and cheese and bacon or sausage or ham, or there's like dozens of different ways to order it. I order a chicken biscuit with add egg and cheese. It's a big meaty sandwich. But I don't think that that's really a quintessential West Virginia thing for the northern half of the state. There's only two that I know of up here, and they're attached to gas stations, and they're not that great. When you go to south, there's Tudor's restaurants kind of everywhere in the south part of the state. But I guess hot dogs. So hot dogs would be my final answer, I think. But if you came to visit me, if you wanted to come stay with me and play board games or whatever, I would take you to Muriel's. We would have Italian there. I would take you to Colasesino's for the pizza and pepperoni rolls. Again, that thick pizza with all the cheese on top. I would take you to Hometown Hot Dogs for hot dogs and a Frito pie, which is Fritos with sauce and cheese and sour cream on it. And that might be it. I mean, we have chain restaurants. We have a lot of those. But just kind of general European home cooking is what you're going to find here. And there's a lot of Catholics, so I don't know if that influenced the types of foods. I don't know anything about their religion, so I don't know if they eat specific things, and that means that some things are more prevalent as opposed to other things. I don't know, but you're not going to come here and get seafood, for instance. I did forget one thing, and that would be beans. And this is something that, again, you're not going to go to a restaurant and get. There aren't, like, bean restaurants. But beans are a huge Appalachian staple, and this state being a part of the Appalachian area, and being a poor state, beans have been a huge part of our diet since forever. And there is a dish we serve here called soup beans, which is basically beans that have been soaked for a day and then cooked for at least 8 hours, probably more like 10 or 12 hours. You take some of those beans out, you mash the crap out of them, you put them back in the broth, and you thicken the soup with mashed beans, and it turns it into this kind of bean chili. It's just beans and butter, sometimes some bacon, and then you serve it with cornbread. And so that would be a very normal home meal when I was a kid. But it's not something that I feel like my kids don't really eat soup beans. Their grandmother makes them sometimes. I make them sometimes. But it's aging out. Beans have become much of less of a staple than when I was a kid. So, yeah. You come here. We'll go have hot dogs and Italian food. Thank you for being here. Oh, hold on. Wherever you are in the world, do you have that regional thing? Like, what is the thing, when you think of your friends' parents who own a restaurant, what do they make? Like, is there one of those, like, there's 3 of these places in your area that all serve their version of the same thing? What would that be? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and let me know where you're from. That would help. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is pernicious. It's an adjective meaning resulting in damage or harm, having a debilitating effect. We believe that once the producers of luxury items become publicly traded companies, the results will be pernicious. Pernicious. P-E-R-N-I-C-I-O-U-S. I've seen that word used a lot, and I believe I've used that word, but I don't think I knew the definition.